Imagine standing alone in a massive arena, face to face with an absolute giant. You have no heavy weapons. You have no protective armor. Everyone in the stadium is waiting for you to be completely crushed. All you have is your absolute, unbreakable will to survive. Would you run away in fear, or would you stand your ground and fight until your last breath? Welcome to Total Football Nexus. What happened early this morning inside the blazing lights of the Los Angeles Stadium in California was not just a regular football match, it was a brutal psychological war. It was a story of survival, sheer willpower, and unbelievable drama. Group G of the FIFA World Cup 2026 just witnessed a match that has left the entire footballing world in a state of absolute shock. Belgium, the European heavyweights, the team packed with superstars, they walked onto the pitch expecting to completely dominate. They expected to crush their opponents, but they forgot one crucial detail. Iran did not travel all the way to California to be an easy stepping stone. They came to fight. And what followed over the next 90 minutes was a masterclass in tactical defense and pure heart. From the very first second the referee blew his whistle, the tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. Rudy Garcia had set his Belgian side up with one clear instruction: attack, dominate the ball, break their spirit. Belgium immediately took control of the possession, pushing high up the pitch, trying to suffocate the Iranian players. But as the minutes ticked by, Belgium realized something terrifying. The Iranian defense was not just a wall, it was an absolute fortress. It was unbreakable. Belgium kept pushing, trying to find a tiny crack in the Iranian armor. And then the first real moment of heart-stopping danger arrived. The ball fell to Yuri Tielemans just outside the penalty box. He did not hesitate. He unleashed an absolute rocket of a shot. The Belgian fans were already off their seats, ready to scream for a goal. But out of nowhere, Ali Reza Beiranvand flew through the air. With reflexes that hardly seem human, the Iranian goalkeeper pulled off a breathtaking, gravity-defying save to keep the ball out. The stadium gasped. At that exact moment, Belgium knew this was not going to be the easy night they had planned for. But if you thought Iran was just going to sit back and defend for 90 minutes, you were completely mistaken. Iran was playing a highly dangerous waiting game. They were absorbing the pressure, waiting for Belgium to make one single mistake. And when they got the chance, their counterattacks were absolutely terrifying. Suddenly, a long throw-in flew deep into the Belgian half. Chaos erupted in the penalty area. The ball dropped perfectly for Hussein Kanani Zadagan. Without a second thought, he smashed a brilliant, terrifying shot toward the net. For a split second, the hearts of millions of Belgian fans stopped beating, but standing in the goal was Thibaut Courtois. The star goalkeeper showed exactly why he is considered one of the best in the world, making a massive, crucial save to keep his team alive. The match was turning into a brutal heavyweight boxing fight, punch for punch, save for save, but the real earthquake was about to strike. It was the 25th minute. The pressure was building. Ehsan Haj-Shafi stood over a free kick for Iran. He whipped a gorgeous, curling ball straight into the heart of the Belgian penalty area. The Belgian defenders froze. Mehdi Taremi darted forward, connected with the ball, and smashed it straight into the back of the Belgian net. The Iranian players exploded in pure joy. The stadium went completely crazy. The underdogs had done the impossible. They had scored against the mighty Belgium. But wait, the celebrations suddenly stopped. Look at the referee. Look at the linesman. The flag is up. The whistle blew sharply. Offside. The goal was ruled out. The emotional roller coaster in that stadium was simply unbelievable. One second you're on top of the world, and the next your heart is ripped out. The first half ended 0-0, but the psychological damage was already done. The giants were bleeding, and the underdogs were hungry for more. But what happened next in the second half would completely flip this game upside down. You will not believe how this story ends. As the teams walked back out of the tunnel for the second half, you could see the absolute frustration written all over the faces of the Belgian players. The pressure on them was suffocating. They desperately needed a win. Rudi Garcia was furious on the touchline. Belgium threw absolutely everything they had at the Iranian defense. They were attacking like a swarm of angry bees. But standing in their way was a man who had decided that he was simply not going to let anything past him tonight. Ali Reza Beiranvand was not just a goalkeeper anymore. He had transformed into an absolute brick wall. Maxime de Kuyper found space and unleashed not one, but two venomous, powerful shots that looked destined for the back of the net. But Beiranvand was there again, diving right, diving left. He was frustrating the European giants to the point of absolute madness. Every save he made pumped more and more confidence into the veins of his teammates. And then the match exploded. It was the 67th minute, the exact moment the entire game flipped on its head. As Belgium was pushing high up the pitch, desperate for a goal, Nathan Ngoy, the Belgian center-back, had the ball at his feet. Suddenly, he lost his concentration for just one tiny fraction of a second. He lost control of the ball. Mehdi Taremi, sensing blood, pounced like a hungry tiger. Taremi stole the ball and started sprinting toward the Belgian goal. He was completely clear. It was extremely dangerous. Ngoy panicked. In a moment of pure desperation, he lunged forward and brought Taremi down. The referee did not hesitate for a second. He reached into his back pocket. Red card. Straight red card for Nathan Ngoy. The entire stadium fell dead silent for a second before erupting into pure chaos. Romelu Lukaku, who had already picked up a yellow card in the very 3rd minute of the game out of sheer frustration, stood there in absolute shock. Belgium, the massive tournament favorites, were suddenly down to 10 men. The dynamic of the game instantly changed. Now it was Iran who smelled fear. Now it was Iran who pushed forward with an extra man, looking to land the killer blow. The Belgian fans in Los Angeles were biting their nails, praying for the final whistle. But despite being a man down, Belgium refused to break, and they had one man to thank for that. Thibaut Courtois stood incredibly tall under the intense pressure. By simply walking onto the pitch tonight, Courtois had made history. He equaled Enzo Cifo's legendary record of playing 17 World Cup matches for Belgium, and he proved exactly why he is a legend. His safe, massive hands caught every cross, stopped every shot, and calmed the nerves of his 10-man team. When the referee finally blew the final whistle, the score remained exactly as it started, 0-0. But this was not a boring draw. This was a tactical masterpiece. For Iran, this single point feels like an absolute massive victory. They fought like warriors, led by their heroic player of the match, Ali Reza Beiranvand, who single-handedly broke the Belgian hearts with his miraculous saves. For Belgium, this draw feels exactly like a defeat. They have the superstars, they had the possession, but they couldn't find the magic. The current situation in Group G is now an absolute ticking bomb. Both Belgium and Iran are sitting nervously on 2 points after 2 matches. The final group game is going to be a bloodbath. Both teams are now facing a terrifying, incredibly difficult equation to survive and advance to the next round. One mistake, and they are going home. The tension of the World Cup never forgives anyone, no matter how big your name is. But if you think a shocking result like this is the biggest drama in football history, you are completely wrong. Do you know about the darkest, most terrifying scandal in football history that was completely hidden from the fans during a previous World Cup? A secret so big that it changed the rules of the game forever? Go to our channel, Total Football Nexus, and watch our documentary on the greatest World Cup robbery right now. You will never look at football the same way again.